Hello, playful people of God. Josh, brother, thank you for that. But we need to be serious now, because playfulness can only last for but a moment, okay? It's sermon time, so we especially need to be serious. A great psalmist once said, "Everybody's working for the weekend." And it's true. Working 9 to 5, living through those manic Mondays, working hard for the money while taking care of business and getting in that overtime. You know, a strong worth ethic is something that is deeply, deeply ingrained within every fabric of our society. Maybe you've heard one of these very wise teachings on hard work and how it pays off. No matter how hard you work, someone else out there is working harder than you. That's from Elon Musk, the real world Tony Stark. It's all about the hard work. Next is inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. That's Dale Carnegie. Without hard labor, nothing prospers. Sophocles. When you undervalue what you do, the world undervalues who you are. That was quoted as Oprah Winfrey. Work isn't to make money, says Mark Chagall. He says, work is to justify life. Now, I want to be clear. There's some great value in these bumper sticker lines about work. Living in a way where we come to believe that sometimes later will become never. Procrastination is a horrible thing, right? That's what we hear. Time is not to be wasted ever. Work hard all the time. We accept the truth that great things never come from our comfort zones. Hard work is something that will always, always pay off. But like most things in life, we have to keep a healthy check and balance here. We more often than not hear others telling us how busy they are when we call to catch up. We'll hear about how tired they've become, how time is just getting away from them. Especially, I can't believe it's already fill in the blank. I can't believe it's already fill in the blank this season. Or where did Christmas go? Life is chaotic and long hours at work are perpetual for most. We brand these things that we say to one another as good. Perhaps we think that our value is based on how hard we're working and how many hours we're working, but how tired we are. It becomes an addiction to being busy. Those long hours spent finding ways to be productive at work or in school begin to occupy so much of our physical, emotional, and even spiritual reserves. Time becomes something so unruly that we barely even notice that it's passing. We sigh deeply, and we put up a good front for others, for our friends and our acquaintances, because being busy to the point of exhaustion is almost expected by everyone. Why? So we might look okay on the outside, but is that the truth of the matter of what's happening on the inside? It's no wonder then that so many of us suffer through these unreasonable expectations to be productive. And that in itself creates worrisome, overworked, depressed, and mentally broken robots. Is that life? When I was working in mental health services back in Virginia, we would often see folks very hurt, very broken by the demands to be a contributing citizen to society, and they had truly lost themselves in the process and in their efforts. Perhaps they weren't sure who the real person was on the inside anymore. Maybe that is to be expected when we describe ourselves to others by what we do for a wage. We say, I'm an accountant, or I'm a nurse, I'm a car or life insurance salesperson. I'm a cook, or I'm a teacher, I'm a server, mechanic, musician, and on and on and on. So what do you do? Is more often than not remembered as a question before the person's name. What you do is how you are remembered. Maybe you've felt at times that you spend more time with your coworkers on the job than you do with your actual family back home. Maybe you know your office or your workplace or the break room more than you know your own home, your bedroom, your living room, or your kitchen. For some, all of that work is because they can never have enough. While for others, all of that work is because they don't have enough. Work is a necessity, and a good work ethic is important. I've had many conversations with community members that would love to bring their children to church on Sunday or tune in during the live stream, but because of work and life's situations and its demands, it seems impossible to them. A few years ago, I was speaking with a mother at a coffee shop, and she told me with tears in her eyes that she was missing her kids so much, and that work was keeping her away from them. She was working 3 jobs as a single mom just to make it. The most heartbreaking part of her story was that she said the babysitters and the daycare providers, her kids were starting to refer to them as mama or daddy. She had to work to support her family. And she never gets to see them due to working all of those jobs. And when she is with them, she is exhausted. It's life in the fast lane. And it's our life in the race to win the rat race. Maybe some of this rings true for you. Maybe for some, you've discovered that healthy balance, and believe me, the rest of us would love to hear about it. Perhaps you're laid off, feeling the pressure of no work and trying to navigate those emotions and fears. Maybe you're not feeling fulfilled in your current role, in your current place of employment, and you're struggling with how do you want to spend your time working, and what are you working for? What is your mission and your purpose and your lot in your labor? Maybe, though, you're retired and on the other end of this, but the struggle is still there. Trying to think of things that help you feel productive, like you are a contributing member of your community. It's important to feel those things. But also, too, I know that for some, that feeling when the alarm clock goes off for work and all you need is 10 more minutes. Maybe on Sunday night you feel that pit of anxiety in your gut because you know that Monday's coming quickly and you are nowhere near ready to face another week. Maybe we need a fast on unhealthy and unreasonable work ethics, demands that are killing people. Demands that are exhausting others to the point they can't even live or enjoy their lives. Maybe we need to feast on something that helps you rediscover who you are on the inside. All that work and no play sure can make life feel pretty dull. But here's where we draw the line as soon as play is brought up. Now, play, no. Play is folly. Play isn't something for us mature folks. We civilized individuals. We are productive. We work hard. We prove that we work hard. Play is seen as a waste of our precious time. Play doesn't advance us up the social ladder, economic ladder. It doesn't do any of that. So why would we play? We adults, we don't play. How in the world do we have time for that? It's a joke. It's nonsense, we might think. But maybe play is restorative. Maybe play is healing. Maybe God is calling us to a creative space where play provides that restorative power within us to make life more meaningful, to help us see the beauty in those small fleeting moments in the midst of our paperwork, our searching for a pen, or our typing out emails as quickly as our fingers can do it. I think play is healing. And I think play can indeed help us do the inner work to maybe address some of that inner ego and lift some of that inner spirituality. A question we or you might even be afraid to ask is simple. Is it okay to enjoy life? Or how do I even enjoy life? My family? My friends? My hobbies? My passions? These past few months it's been really fun to watch my two kids play. It's been especially fun to see children at our treehouse playground at the Lidditz Church of the Brethren. Something we hear other parents say all the time is that the playground makes them wish that they were kids again. My response, what's stopping you? One story back last fall was there was a dad and we were talking. He had two little girls and Rosalind was getting to know them. We were talking about how just life was busy, how it was chaotic, how it's great to have a place like this to bring our kids to get out some of that energy. Well, then one of his little girls came over and started pulling his arm and said, "Dad, you've got to ride the zip line." And he immediately dismissed it as ridiculous. Daddy does not ride the zip line. That is not something Daddy's going to do. Well, then the other girl, the other daughter, comes up and starts pulling his other arm and says, "Dad, it's so much fun just one time on the zip line." How do you say no to that? So he stood up on the platform, held onto the rope, and off he went with a whee all the way down. And I remember what he said when he got off the zip line, and he did only ride it once. But he said, "I think I need more of that in my life." In Matthew's Gospel, chapter 19, we hear these words. Then people brought little children to Jesus for him to place his hands on them and pray for them. But the disciples, with busy schedules, I would bet, rebuked them. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me and do not hinder them. For the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." When he had placed his hands on them, he went on from there. The next verse says, "Just then a man came up to Jesus and asked, 'Teacher, what good things must I do to inherit eternal life?'" And that is no mistake. We think that we have to give so much of ourselves to inherit the good things that life has to give. Jesus saying, "Let the children come to me." That the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these. Think about it, only for a moment. Let the creative, imaginative, innovative, and playful, exploring humans come to me, for they are the builders of the world to come. So maybe just for a second, imagine your life with more spontaneous play. What would it look like if we set aside that sometimes all-controlling ego and allowed ourselves to embrace a more childlike, not childish, there's a difference, approach to our living? What if in the process of opening ourselves up to play, we learned to play better together? The basic idea of preschool is helping children learn through play with others. Why does that need to stop when they grow up? Why does that have to cease in our later years? I think that when we are playing together, that is where some of our best ideas are born. I think we can be at our best and most creative when we are being playful with each other. Play opens us up on a personal and spiritual level. It can crack and chip away at that hardened shell that work and the difficulties of life can add. The callus after years and years of tired exhaustion that develops to help us push through work without any pain can become no more. Dr. Stuart Brown, in his book Play, How It Shapes the Brain, opens the imagination, and invigorates the soul. He says this: play helps us deal with the difficulties, provides a sense of expansiveness, promotes mastery of our craft. It's an essential part of the creative process. Most important, true play comes from our own inner needs and desires. It's the only path to finding lasting joy and satisfaction in our work. In the long run, he says, work does not work without play. Work does not work without play. Kohelet, the teacher in Ecclesiastes, one of my favorite books in the First Testament, has been saying this long before Dr. Brown. In that text it says, "So I am all in for just going ahead and having a good time the best possible. The only earthly good men and women can look forward to is to eat and drink well and have a good time. Compensation for the struggle for survival these few years that God has given us on earth." I think some are more surprised when we become more playful. People are shocked to see that side of ourselves. Kids go wild whenever an adult decides to roll in the grass with them. When an adult that maybe isn't normally as playful decides to roll up a snowball and throw it at their back. There's such an energy that comes to life in seeing that playful side of another person. It's beautiful. And dare I say, it's who they really are. People are shocked with an invitation to be silly, to let go of inhibition and discover the joy through precious wasted time. That really isn't time wasted when we think about it. It's time best spent. We can learn a lot from the playful qualities of from our children and their fun, their playfulness, and genuine spontaneity. Kids help me relearn to play on a regular basis. It's a lesson that I myself need to learn time and time again, to be reminded to put down my phone or to close the laptop, take a break from the emails, the research, the writing, and be fully present through play. Has led to some of the most precious and holy memories I have. It's important for every age. And let's be clear, and I think we need to name this. Fasting on work is certainly a thing of privilege. We have to acknowledge that the way our society is structured, that not everyone has the luxury of an afternoon off or a weekend away because they have to work to support the people they love. Many right now can't join us for worship because they are working to support themselves, their families. This year especially, so many essential workers and teachers have sacrificed so much for the cause of their occupation. If you're working at home, focus may be tough. You might hit a wall. Maybe you need a bit of a break for your brain to step away and to refresh, to come back, and maybe then your work will be more productive. I think God is playful. We don't often think about God as playful, but I think God's extraordinarily playful. And we see that through creation. The playful creativity. I think it takes a great sense of humor to put a trunk on an elephant, or design an anteater the way it is, or even us people. The different personalities, our different styles and looks, the creative nature that we all see comes from the creative essence and heart of God. God who wants us to maybe waste a little time walking through the cool of the garden during the day. I'll close with this. One of my favorite suggestions from Brene Brown. She says that it's extremely helpful to create a play list. And in that, she asks us to write down activities that we could do for hours on end, but really can't due to those time constraints. The dare that she issues is to carve out space for unstructured time. It may be an hour, it might be that afternoon, or maybe it's even 10 minutes to yourself while you catch your breath. She says that it is just as important to protect playtime in the same way that we protect work, church, and PTA meetings, you name it. Find the things that make you the most silly. And remember, it doesn't need to be in private. Be playful and silly with people while you're out shopping. Be playful and silly with people you pass at the park. Catch them off guard with your fun and loving nature. Have an epic sing-off in your car. And don't be afraid when the guy's giving you weird looks at the light next to you. Sing anyways. Enjoy the playful time. Play is where our best and most creative ideas are born. Play is restorative and it is healing. Play helps us learn how to live life with others. Play can calm those storms of life. And our Lord says, "Let the playful children come to me. Do not hinder them. For the coming world, it's theirs."